Hi, I'm Jay Weitzel, manager of the Long Foster Towson Office, and I also administrate the auction program that Long Foster has with our auction partner, Fox Residential Auctions. We're here today to explain an excellent method of getting your real estate sold by auction in the shortest amount of time for the most dollars with the least amount of problems for you as the seller. With me today is Bill Fox, Chairman and CEO of Fox Residential Auctions. Welcome, Bill.
Thanks, Jay. Great to be here.
Bill, what types of properties are the most appropriate for our auction program?
Actually, Jay, all types of residential real estate apply. From single-family homes, both large and small, to condominiums, townhomes, farms. We can sell anything.
And Bill, sellers are always asking me, what's the cost of an auction? What are the fees involved?
The seller only pays a 3% commission on a Fox auction, and that's based on the hammer price of the property. The only other additional costs that the seller has are the costs of advertising and marketing the auction, which usually run 1 to 1.5% of the anticipated value. The good news is that typically in a negotiated or brokered sale, the buyer and seller will always split the transfer taxes and recording fees on a 50-50 basis. That's the bulk of the closing costs. But in an auction, the buyer pays it all. So that savings of half the transfer taxes and recording fees usually will recoup the cost of the advertising for the seller.
And Bill, how is it determined if a property is right for an auction?
Well, first we discuss the property with the agent and the seller. Several things are considered, including the value of the property, the existing mortgage amount, and the property's condition. Once it's determined that the property is a good candidate for auction, we complete the agreement and the process then begins.
And what are some of the other benefits to the seller when they choose the auction method?
There's a few, Jay. Auction properties are sold as is, where is. That means we make no guarantees, no warranties, no representations of any kind other than as to title. We do warrant to the buyer that the seller can deliver good title. There are no contingencies in the contract. In a typical negotiated sale, there's typically a inspection contingency, a financing contingency, or what have you. But in an auction, it is totally non-contingent. An additional feature for the sellers, as I've already mentioned, is that the buyer pays 100% of the documentary stamps and transfer taxes. Our marketing efforts will maximize exposure for the property and generate lots of buyer interest.
So how long does the auction process take?
Normally, the auction date is set approximately 45 days from the date the auction agreement is signed. We do all the advertising and marketing during that period. And then also we conduct 3 open houses on the weekends, the 3 weekends, immediately prior to the auction. Once the auction is held and the property is sold, we allow the buyer 45 days to close the transaction.
So ideally, a seller can agree to the auction and within 90 days be out of the property.
Absolutely correct.
Wow. What if a buyer wants to make an offer before the actual auction date?
All pre-sale offers are presented to the seller for the seller's consideration. If the offer is accepted, the same terms of sale apply as if the property were sold at the auction.
That's great. Thanks very much, Bill, for all the information. If you'd like to know more about our auction program, talk to your Long & Foster agent or make a call to Fox Residential Auctions. Either would be happy to help you to take the next step. Thanks very much for watching. I look forward to working with you and Fox to get your home sold at auction.